What is going on, y'all? James here from Showmaker Enterprises, back here with another video today. This is part 1, episode 1, video 1. I don't know how I'm going to name these exactly, but this is the start of my Road to Vegas series that I'm going to be doing over the next several weeks. To provide just a little bit of explanation, and this is something I talked about doing last year but never did because COVID happened. I was going to do a series called Road to Reno, essentially kind of documenting kind of some of my thought processes and what I'm doing to prepare for the Open Championships, the USBC Open Championships. And so this video today is going to be just kind of talking briefly about kind of what are the tournaments, a little bit of the history behind them. And yeah, I guess I'll just kind of start there, and then I'll have a chance to practice on some of the patterns they've used in past years for the Open Championships. So there'll be some more like kind of show and tell, like actually showing progressions and how I might attack a pattern. And then just kind of, yeah, use this kind of a way to take y'all on the journey along with me. So I'm actually on the way back home. I was just up before the first frame up in Henderson, North Carolina, practicing on the 2019 patterns with some friends of mine from the Open Championships. So a lot of this is kind of fresh in my head right now, and I figured I'd start episode 1 right now. So I guess I'll start with the explaining what the tournaments are that I'm bowling, and then talk a little bit about the conditions, and then just very briefly about kind of my game plan for them. First off, the 2 tournaments that I'm bowling, this is late June through 4th of July weekend. The 2 tournaments are, one is the USBC Open Championships, and 2 is it's called the TAT, or the True Amateur Tournament. It's a Storm-sponsored event, singles that happens, 2 or 3 times a year. Usually they're in Vegas, I think, but they move them around a little bit depending on year to year. So yeah, both of those, we happen to be out in Las Vegas for the Open Championships, aka Nationals, at the same time as the Summer TAT. So I figured I would take the chance and just extend my stay a little bit and bowl in both of them. And where is that reflection coming from? So to explain a little bit, in case you didn't notice, the scenes have changed in here a little bit. I just upgraded to a 2016 Mercedes-Benz C300 last week, so cruising around in my new car, and yeah, makes road trips just a little bit more comfortable. Anyways, the Open Championships is one of, if not the single biggest participation sporting event in the United States every year. Last time it was held was 2019. It got canceled in 2020 due to COVID closures. In 2019, it was in Las Vegas, and I think they had 50,000 bowlers, give or take, over a 4-month tournament run. So you go out to wherever it is every year. It's in Vegas this year. Then I think it's Vegas next year, and Reno the year after that, if I remember correctly, at the National Bowling Stadium. So you go out, you bowl 3 games of 5-man team. And then in a separate squad time, you will bowl 3 games of doubles and 3 games of singles. So you just go out there at some point during the tournament. You can't re-enter, so you bowl once and you're done. Bowl your 9 games, and then at the end of the tournament, they tally up the scores for team, for singles, for doubles, and for all events. And there's 2. It's all scratched, but it's all broken up. There's 3 different average groups, or average divisions. Regular, standard, and classified, I believe, are the 3. Regular being the highest, and I think standard is the lowest. I don't remember exactly. It's weird naming, but it's the USBC, so who the heck knows. So that's the Open Championships. Happens every year, well, except for 2020 because 2020 happened. So I'm going out for that, and then the other tournament that I'm bowling is called the TAT, or the True Amateur Tournament. Basically what that is, I believe is mostly scratch. Not completely, but mostly. Why are we going slow? Sorry, highway drivers are dumb. Scratch or mostly scratch, I don't remember which. I'll be bowling in one of the scratch divisions. I know that much. So basically the TAT is a fairly opposite tournament to the Open Championships. it's multiple squads. I think they have like 15 or 20 total, 20 plus different squads you can enter over the span of the 5 or 6 days of qualifying they have this year for the Summer TAT. And so a squad is just 3 games, and then I guess they tally up each division either on a daily basis or just over the course of the week, and you basically take your high set, and if you make cut from that, then you get to bowl in the knockout elimination rounds, which are on the last day of the tournament. It pays $20,000 for first place, which is absolutely massive. Pulls a lot of bowlers in. Like, I know guys will go to Vegas for a week or wherever the TAT is to bowl the TAT, like literally just to do that. So it's pretty lucrative and a lot of side action from what I've heard. So the fact that it's out there at the same time as when I'm out there for nationals, figured I'd just take advantage and bowl both at the same time. I'm driving really slow. I don't know why. I figured. So those are the tournaments that I'm bowling. So I fly out June 28th, I think, and then I'm there through the Monday after July 4th. So I'll be out there for pretty much a full week, hanging out, bowling, eating some really good food, and just having a good time. So both of the tournaments, talk about lane conditions for a minute, both of the tournaments are usually on sport patterns. Well, the Open Championships is always a sport pattern. The TAT is usually on either something that's on the really tough side of a challenge pattern or on a little bit softer side of the sport pattern spectrum, like usually like 3-1 to like 4.5-1, somewhere in that range for the TAT. So Open Championships, they've been doing this for I think 5-ish years now, where they have a team pattern and then a double singles pattern, and they haven't really changed the patterns much at all since they started doing this. So I'm pretty confident, based on this and what I've heard and seen so far of video coming out of the Open Championships on the USBC Facebook page, is they look about the same-ish in terms of what they're putting out for the Open Championships. They do hide the oil patterns until after the tournament is done, which is really, really stupid in my opinion. They also don't let you video your bowling while you're out there. You have to buy the video package and they deliver it after the whole tournament is done. So it's like, it's really, really secretive, and it doesn't really have to be, and it's a chance for bowler education that the USBC is missing out on, and I think that's really stupid. So, sorry, just need some coffee. So the team pattern. And I'm pretty much looking at the last like 5-ish years since I started doing this. It's usually in the 38 to 39 foot range. Pretty high volume, like 26, 27 mils. But also not a whole lot of what's called buff out. So when you apply forward oil, there's actually a buffer brush that kind of blends out the forward oil and straight kind of like a paint roller when you're painting a wall. And it's that same kind of concept. And so really long buff out ranges will make your ball do really blend off the end of the pattern, versus much shorter buff out ranges will make your ball go sideways a lot more off the end of the pattern. They do tend to use a pretty short buff out on the team pattern, which means it is 38 feet-ish, but it'll feel more like 35 to 36 feet a lot of the time, just because as soon as your ball goes off the pattern, it's just going dead sideways. So that's usually, in the middle of the lane is pretty much always very, very flat for the team pattern. So it usually forces your break point a little bit further to the right because it plays a little shorter, and you don't have much miss to the middle of the lane. So usually what ends up happening is you'll actually want to, when you're breaking it down in practice, in this a pattern where you have to work as a team to break it down or else you're going to be screwed. When you're breaking it down as a team, you pretty much, the best strategy I've found is to actually throw like surface, about like 1,000 grit to 2,000 grit stuff, and just keep it between 5 and the gutter for the first 30 feet. And just throw it there for the first like half to 2/3 of practice. Try and build a little bit of a hook spot, and then try and get lined up in your last few minutes of practice. And usually that's been an okay strategy. Obviously, it's a little different this year because they're only putting one team of 5 on a pair instead of 2. So there's a little less traffic. But I also, they might change the patterns a little bit this year because there's less traffic. I'm not sure. but that's generally in the past been the play. It's kind of basically burn a hook spot, and then for me, the IQ Tour Solid is my absolute money ball for medium to medium shortish stuff like this, or stuff on the shorter side of medium, where it hooks a lot, because I can essentially make my rev rate makes the ball hook, but the smoother, really controlled nature helps create hold for me. So that's usually how I have to attack that. Is usually I'll get into like an IQ Tour Solid on the fresh. Then as I progress, I'll probably go like, if I had to guess right now, probably like IQ Tour Solid. If that starts to hook too early, then I'll go to an Idle Synergy, and if both of those are too much core, then I'll have a High Road Pearl with me. So pretty simple. When you're out there, you definitely want to stay with the biggest thing I found is staying with stable stuff that you trust, because it's such a short, like the 3 games go by really fast, especially for team events. So it's just like hit the front one, fill your frames above all else, and then everything else is gravy on top of that. So that's the team pattern. Double singles is a little bit different this year. They'll usually have team and double singles in the same venue. This year they're actually putting them in separate venues. So South Point has the Bowling Plaza. It's a big 60-lane like purpose-built for big tournaments arena that they have. 2 30-lane bays back to back with stadium seating in the middle. It's an incredible venue, really fun to bowl in. That's where team event is this year. Double singles is in the Bowling Center, which is 2 bays of 32 lanes. It's set up much more like a traditional bowling center. And it's also a much higher friction surface because of all the traffic they get. I think at one point they had something like 6,000 league bowlers a week in that building, which is absolutely insane. So the track area is really, really, really chopped up in there. So essentially what that means is, even though they use Brunswick and Villain surface for both the Bowling Center and the Bowling Plaza, the Bowling Center, where double singles is, hooks a whole lot more because there's just a lot more surface friction. So, but the thing is, the gutter usually looks pretty nice with the double singles pattern that they put out, if you have a chance to practice on it in the Bowling Center. So, essentially, for double singles, the play is going to be one of 2 things. Either the gutter looks really nice, and you get to play the gutter, or the gutter does not look very nice, and you just got to blow up the track area and then just go to 4th arrow instantly. Knowing myself and knowing that I'm not good at forcing left on longer sport patterns that aren't super developed, I'm probably going to try and play right if I can. So that, if I play right, it'll either be with urethane or with really strong stuff like a Reality or a Phase 2. Pretty strong, like big cover, big core, rolly controlled type of equipment. And then if those go away, then I can go to something like, I'm probably going to have like a Dart Code or a Zen with me. That's kind of the general progression I can see happening for double singles. The other tournament, the other last one is the TAT. Like I said, that's usually on a sport pattern, I think. Usually a little bit on the softer side versus what they put out for the Open Championships. And the TAT is also being held at the Orleans this year, which is another casino with a big bowling center in it. It's kind of on the northwest side corner of the Strip, I think. It's actually where the Masters was in 2017 when I believe Belmo beat Mikey Tang in the title match for that tournament. Urethane looks very, very good there as well. So I don't know. They haven't announced anything about the pattern. I know they usually change it up at the TAT a little bit, but I know urethane, they usually put out some urethane-friendly patterns for that. So I don't really know as much of what to expect from the TAT conditions-wise, because this is my first time ever bowling it. They're not going to be super hard. They're not going to be super easy. That's pretty much all I know. So definitely going in with an open mind for that and just taking it as it comes. So got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to take equipment-wise with me. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be several more videos coming, kind of talking through my progressions, my thought process of how I want to kind of break down these patterns, progressions that I see happening, and what's going to come out of that. So definitely look out for that content. Just kind of at a very high level, what I'm planning on taking with me. I'm actually taking 8 this year because I am bowling the TAT plus Nationals at the same time. If I was only bowling Nationals, I'd probably just try and take 6 and call it a day. So for for my arsenal, kind of top to bottom. First ball, or strong, not necessarily going to go in order of priority, but more order of strength, kind of top to bottom in my bag. On the resin side, taking a Reality with me, because that ball has just been absolutely money, as like a stronger standard asymmetric piece that I can throw in a lot of different conditions, or a lot more conditions than most other ASIMs, so that's definitely coming along. Phase 2 is coming along because Phase 2, I don't think I really have to explain this one. Then after that, either a Dark Code or a Zen. One of those two. I think just having a really strong, like smoother, rolly, symmetrical ball, or rolly ball that's shiny. Something that'll get through the fronts a little better than my Phase 2, but not be like sideways all in friction, I think is going to be super helpful. I could see myself using, if I have to get left and shape it on double singles, one of those two will probably be getting a lot of use for double singles and nationals. So then that's kind of the stronger half of my resin bag. The weaker half is going to be, let's see, IQ Tour Solid, Idle Synergy, and a High Road Pearl. You'll notice a lot of these are pretty stable, trustworthy type of shapes. And that's my overall goal, is to bring stuff that is stable, that I trust. If I do that and still build a good arsenal with that, then I'm going to be in a good spot going into Vegas. So then that's 6. Reality Phase 2, Dark Code or Zen, IQ Tour, Synergy, High Road Pearl. And then the last two are going to be my 900 Global Booyah, which is my one of my urethane balls. I've got that in a pitch black. I like the Booyah a little bit more. I feel like I can use it for longer than I can a pitch black. So that's going to be my urethane ball of choice for Vegas. And then, of course, an Ice Storm. Probably going to drill a fresh one just to be on the safe side, because mine's getting a little old and worn. I might just repolish it and take that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Anyways, so that's my 8. Reality, Phase 2, Zen or Dark Code, IQ Tour, Synergy, High Red Pearl, Booyah, Plastic. So that's my 8. I'm probably going to fly with 6 and ship 2 out there, just to avoid bag fees. And yeah, should be a good time. Like I said, I fly out, I think 6 weeks from Monday. So I've got, plenty of time to figure this out. I'll be able to order my Dark Code next week and start getting some time on that, figuring out if I actually want to take it with me. And yeah, I guess my next video, I'm actually going to get out and get some practice in on the on one of the previous year's team patterns, and just going to do a little bit of show and tell of kind of breaking it down and showing how you might want to progress that in a couple different ways to attack it. So anyways, definitely let me know in the questions, or let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I can't talk today. Let me know if there's anything in particular you want to know about in terms of kind of what to expect for this year, or specific things that I might have insight on. And as always, as always, I'll be around. I'm definitely going to be making more content. Dark Code and UFO alert videos will be coming probably in early June. And yeah, until then, good luck and good bowling.